welcome to Geek Envy Podcast, episode 38. My name is Courtney, and this podcast is about video games, geek culture, and anything else we feel like talking about. So, to get us started, we're just going to talk about what everybody's been up to these past couple weeks. Joey, what have you been up to today? This week, last week, all of them.
All of the weeks. I've been playing more video games, because that's what I do now. And I beat, I don't know if you can call it beat, I just kind of played through Firewatch.
Mm-hmm.
Have you all played this at all?
No, but it's been spoiled for me.
It's been spoiled?
Yes.
Oh no.
Oh, that sucks.
I don't know anything about it, so...
Okay, it's like an indie game. Campo Santo did it. It looks amazing, but it's not that good.
Oh, really?
Well, I feel like Matt spoke about it last time, or he played through, and he was like, "Yeah, it's great up until the ending, and then the ending sucked."
And it's really nice. Like, it feels good to be like this dude who, and I'm kind of just gonna talk through the general premise of it. This dude who needs to get away and gets a job watching for fires in Colorado. Wouldn't do much help if you just watched fires. And so, you know, you go out into your little Firewatch tower and you get to walk around Colorado or this park in Colorado and kind of experience this game. It's just, there are some elements that are lacking. One, there's like kind of a forced romance type thing going on that doesn't really work out narratively, I guess you could say, or motive, in terms of its motive, I guess. It's really hard to go into without doing spoilers. Courtney, if you play it, we'll have to do a spoiler cast with Matt, maybe.
Sounds good.
It's like really short too. It takes like 3 to 4 hours, maybe.
Oh, that's not bad. Is it like a walking
Firewatch.
Simulator, kind of like Gone Home? Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's first person, right? I mean, it's first person kind of adventure, I would say.
Yeah,
like
kind of
exploration.
like Gone Home. I would say that, and it's a little bit of like like an adventure game. Like, you need this certain item to do this, and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to play. I feel like if it had nailed everything, that I'd want to play it again. Especially since it seems like there's ways that you could take the game in multiple directions. I don't think that's necessarily true though. So I did it, done with it, disappointed in it.
Ouch.
Sadness.
I'm sorry.
I don't. Every time all these LRG games get me excited, but Valhalla, that was a good one. And then I was doing a bunch of Wii U stuff because I got a Wii U again. Something about the system is like intrigues me so much.
Wait,
Speaking
you
of which,
got a Wii U again? Oh, go ahead, Eric.
No, I was going to say LRG actually just announced
Another
a
Wii U game.
Axe and Verge.
Oh.
Anyways, go ahead, Court.
Oh, so did you get rid of your Wii U and then get another one, or did you just dust off your old Wii U?
No, I had like 4 Wii U's in my lifetime.
Just
so I bought another one. I know, but I like to downsize and then upsize.
All right, Mari Kondo, I see you.
If it does not spark joy.
The Wii U is a very hard one to spark joy.
It is. Oh my god, the tablet battery life is terrible. But anyways, I did a bunch of stuff to it, and I'm kind of enjoying it more now. So I started playing Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and I got like the, you know how like it was kind of controversial when it came over because it had like some censorship stuff done to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the patch that kind of undoes all that.
Good.
And it's really good. Like, it's exactly what works for me in a JRPG. It's got idols. It's got Vocaloids. It's got...
Oh boy, you and your Vocaloids.
Yeah.
I love
Courtney, if you don't know anything about
No.
this man, he is a Project Diva.
I love Project
aficionado.
Diva.
But yeah, so it just kind of mixes. It's colorful. The Persona elements.
Mm-hmm.
I love. I
think the character designer is from Persona. Isn't
I think so, yeah.
that the case?
And then their animation studio is the animation studio Fire Emblem uses. So like the animation, the little AMVs they have throughout the game are just like perfect. Like they're like whatever the highest FPS is for anime. You remember the beginning of Senran Kagura Estival versus?
Nope.
Yeah.
And like how smooth that animation is.
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. It's like that crisp of animation. So it's a really hard game though. Like it's an SMT game, so
can you pick the difficulty?
Yeah, and it's still really hard on easy. like there's these like monsters that in normal RPGs are like supposed to be tough, but normally just net you a bunch of EXP. And in this game on easy, they'll still like wreck you for the most part. It's really fun.
What was the 3DS SMT game? Not Devil Survivor.
Oh gosh.
There was like 2 or 3.
The one with the guy that looks like he has samurai hair. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't remember.
I think it was SMT4 actually, but I was just
SMT4?
that was my last
was hard.
Yes, they are ridiculously hard, no matter what level you play on.
They're all freaking hard. But there's a 4th difficulty level called Friendly, which I've only had to use on one, like side quest type boss thing. But yeah, the game is awesome. If you haven't played through it, you should pick it up.
I actually have the collector's edition. I just haven't played it.
Yeah. I ended up going through all this trouble, and I still rebought that, with the little outer box and the booklet. I was like, I need this. And I'm really disappointed with how little merchandise there is for it. There's literally, like, nothing out there. But anyways. And then, speaking of merchandise, I've been watching an anime for once. And I'm, like, 14 episodes in. And it's amazing. Have you guys heard of... I need to stop saying you guys. Have you all heard of That Time I Got Reincarnated? Yeah. Have you heard of the anime That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime?
Nope.
Yes, but I haven't watched it.
It's so good. Oh my god. It's like the Lord of the Rings of anime. Stuff.
I'm like out of the loop in terms of anime right now.
You should pick this one up. You just watched, or I guess you read all the what's it called ones, but
what?
I think you'd like this one. It's not ecchi at all. So
That's the first thing you say.
You say that, but then by you saying that makes me think that I'm like stepping into a trap here.
Well, these guys,
but it is slime.
They can't just watch everything ecchi, but it's not ecchi at all. It's got
wink.
It's set in a fantasy world, and it's got like every fantasy monster you can imagine. Like obviously, it's got slimes, it's got ogres, orcs, goblins. It's got dryads. When's the last time you heard of a fucking dryad? Like in anything?
A druid or a dryad?
Dryad. Like the little tree goddesses or tree spirit people. Look it up.
Yeah. Okay.
No counter argument. Okay. Yes, I will.
But really good, and there's like a ton of merch for this, so I'm kind of excited about that. That's all I've been doing recently. I'm also playing some other games, but I'm trying to focus on TMS so I can beat that. Eric, what about you?
Well, work's been kind of hellish for me, so I really haven't had much time to do much of anything. But gaming-wise, I'm still playing Tales of Vesperia. 80 hours in, I forget how many side quests kick in towards the end of this game. Just in kind of any Tales game, right? I think last time we were talking about how the different things that pop up once you get to the end of the game. Mm-hmm. But I'm on like a side quest bonanza.
Getting it all done before you finish.
Yeah, I mean, there's all like the final weapons and things, and like all the other spells you can learn. I don't know, but in doing that, I sidetracked so far that I'm like, what was I supposed to do? And then I just leave the system. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll get to it whenever.
Oh, I hate when that happens. I hate when you're like, I gotta go do the main thing at some point.
But that's what I mean. Like, I'm like, all right, so I've side quested so many different times, and I'm like across the map. Where am I supposed to be? This is not like a modern RPG that's like, hey, you should go back to where you were before. No, it's like, you didn't write it down. Good luck. But no, that's pretty much it for me. Like I said,
are you playing it on Switch?
Yeah, Nintendo Switch.
How's it run on that?
When the game first came out, people were talking about crashes almost. It was like a 50-50. Some people were saying like it crashes all the time. Some people were saying it never crashed for them. They even did like an impromptu survey that wasn't official on the Reddit on the Nintendo Switch Reddit.
Yeah.
But for me, it ran solid up until almost like 60 hours, and that's when I got my first crash. And then it crashed pretty consecutive, in which I was like constantly saving, and then I haven't had a crash since. So I don't know if it's because of where you are in the game.
Maybe it must be like a part that taxes the system.
That's what I was thinking.
I was wondering about your Switch. Have you noticed the Joy-Cons drifting?
Oh, that's long happened. So, for those who don't know about the Joy-Con issues, is that the Joy-Cons are very inventive and I think groundbreaking for controllers on a portable /home console, but they are one of the poorest built controllers that I've ever had. Okay, let's not go that far, because the Mad Cats during the Nintendo 64 era was a whole another world. But for being as not just pricey, but like supposedly top line system in Nintendo, they're just badly built.
That sucks.
I had Joy-Con drift. Okay, I've had the console since launch, right? And that's been 2017.
Yeah, some date.
I think within like a 1 year mark, I already had drift in the left Joy-Con, and so I think I've actually replaced both Joy-Con joysticks at this point, and I get it every now and then. But a lot of people have mentioned that you can use like a electric contact cleaner. I haven't gone that far yet, but whenever
I heard some random. And it could just be a random bullshit online number, but I heard something like 67% of Joy-Cons drift.
Yeah, that's a bad failure
That is
rate.
a really bad statistic.
That's super annoying. But I don't think I play enough to notice. I don't know if I would notice enough.
Well, that's the thing. It depends on where you're playing, right? So at home, I'm playing on my Pro controller. But since I play on the go a lot, I actually really need those Joy-Cons to work. And when they start drifting in games that are really important in terms of directions, like Tales, the Joy-Cons correspond to like pushing up will give me an art, or down, or left or right. And if I start getting random inputs because the controller is like, oops, I'm registering up, then it's going to mess me up.
Yeah, gotcha. You would notice right away then.
Mm-hmm.
So, Eric, back to talking about Tales, and I'm sorry about your Switch woes, but because you played Vesperia before, right? Did you beat it before? How is Patty? Because Patty wasn't... We never got Patty.
No, so when I was saying yes, as in like, yes, I'm playing it, but no, I've never beat it. And I think on one podcast before we talked about how the Switch and a lot of these RPGs coming to the system has given those of us who didn't have a chance to finish games that were just home console only a better chance to actually pushing through. Mm-hmm. So I made it pretty far into the game. I think I made it to like right before the third phase of the game, or whatever they call it.
When you were younger?
Yes, 10 years ago. But I never beat it, and that was the Xbox 360 version. And no, we didn't get Patty then. It was a PS3 Japan only release that had her.
Right.
Some of the game definitely feels weird, almost like forced interaction.
With her as the character?
Yeah, with her as the character. Like, the first half of the game, she comes and goes in and out of the party.
Oh.
And then, like I said, it feels very weird that you're like, okay, you're here, but you're not.
You're 12, where's your mom?
But then she becomes a permanent part of the team, and even then some of the interactions you can tell are like, they fit her in, but end game where I'm at now, it's almost like seamless. Like she was always there.
That's nice to know. I always thought she was adorable, and I was so mad we never got her, because I played Vesperia on the Xbox 360 too, and I was so tempted to port the Japanese version, but I was like, I can't read Japanese, so what's the use?
I think a lot of people didn't like this Tales because of how whiny, I guess, some of the female characters were, but I disagree. I love all of them.
Judith is one of my favorite Tales characters in general.
Well,
she's so hot.
She's such a like a screw you type of personality.
Oh, she's great.
But I actually really adore Rita.
Rita's great too. Rita's amazing. I don't think they're whiny at all. Who said that? I'll fight them.
Of course, yeah. Go fight the internet.
I'm gonna take you on.
No, I mean, Estelle was a little like jarring at first, in which she was like very naive and like high pitched. But you know, I like her as the princess.
Yeah, I don't think she's whiny as much as, like you said, she's naive and young and is probably just confused. I never saw her as whiny, but again, it's been forever since I've played, so I don't remember everything. But
yeah, that's it. So, Miss Courtney, we move on to you. What have you been up to?
A lot and not a lot at the same time. A couple weeks ago, I finished a dating sim on Steam called HustleCat, which is developed and produced by Date Naito, who I looked into and doesn't really have much else. This is like their only game. But that was kind of cute. It's about your character, which I think is interesting. Your character, you can choose your gender and your appearance, and it doesn't really affect the gameplay at all.
But you're a cat.
You're not a cat.
Oh. I thought it was... Well, what was that bird dating sim where you were literally like...
You were literally... No, you were actually a girl dating birds, I believe.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It makes sense.
Are you a human dating cats?
Yeah, more or less. There's a whole story to it. I wouldn't want to spoil anything, but I just thought it was neat, the feature where you can kind of... Oh, I'm a dude, but I want to date another dude. Or instead I want to date this chick. This is great. Like, you can just kind of mess around and it doesn't affect anything in the game otherwise. And it's short as it's a visual novel. Or it's not a dating sim, it's a visual novel. No, it's a dating sim. There's like 3 choices.
Which one is it?
It can be both.
It can be, but why not both? But yeah, it was really cute. Just short. And then I've been picking up Stardew Valley again.
I cannot get into that game.
I couldn't either until, like, this month. And then I was like, this is so cozy and comfy, and I just never want to leave my bed.
Okay, so Matt got us codes for Stardew Valley.
What a good guy.
Well, yeah, it was like Christmas last year, right? Or the year before. And I didn't touch the game until like 8 months later. And then I finally played it. I was like, yeah, I still can't do this.
Well, there's co-op now, too. I haven't tested the co-op, but you can play with your friends, and I'm sure that feature is a thrill. So, but
what are you playing it on?
I'm playing it on the Switch. And I kind of like Stardew because it's one of those games you really don't have to concentrate on. So, with Netflix, if anybody uses Netflix, they take movies off a lot. Like, they'll be like, oh, here, have this movie, but then we're also going to remove it 2 months later. So I have this nasty habit of going, holy shit, half of my queue is being removed. I need to watch all of these movies now. So as I've been playing Stardew, I've been watching, they're removing a couple of the 007 movies, at the end of May, beginning of April, or end of March, beginning of April. And then, what did I watch last night? I Love You, Man. And then they're removing American Pies. So catch those before they're gone.
Okay, seriously. Tip for anyone that loves Netflix as much as we do. About once a month, at the beginning or the end of the month, go Google what's coming and going from Netflix. There's always an update of like what's coming weekly, and then what's going at the end of the month. And it has saved me a bunch of like, oh my god, I actually gotta watch this right now before it disappears. But it also helped me point out, or at least help me find movies that were being taken off. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was available, and that sounds pretty interesting. Let me go watch that.
Right. I think that was what happened with me this month. I didn't really realize it was a thing. I noticed it a couple months ago when they were removing Scarface, and I had never seen Scarface before. And it was like, oh, shit, like, I should definitely watch that. And then I never looked into the fact that they removed things again until I saw an article. And that's amazing.
I'm a huge like horror movie dude, and there was this one article I was reading that was like, actually you should go watch this, and it was called It Follows. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I'm not going to say anything about it because it's just a whole like mind bender.
Is it still on there, or was it removed?
It got taken off.
Oh.
It was one of those that got taken off things.
You can't like tell me it's good and then tell me it's gone.
Sorry.
Is that the one where like there's always someone behind them or something?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That no matter how far you tried to get away, it always caught up with you.
Yeah, that's all fucked up, man.
That sounds
and then the only way that you could pass it on was through.
Oh, okay. No, stop there.
Yeah, yep.
Too spoilery. Yeah, that one was a mind trip.
Huh. I'll have to look into it. I like horror movies as well. But yeah, so that's kind of what I was doing, and then I've been trying to finish reading Agents of the Stars by John Scalzi, and because I've wanted to read Logic, aka Bobby Hill, released a book called Supermarket, and alongside the book he released an album / soundtrack to the book, which I think is super cool concept. So I kind of rushed reading Agent of the Stars, which was really good, to read this Supermarket, which I don't know if either of you are big into reading or what you're into when it comes to reading, but this reminds me a lot of Chuck Palahniuk, the writer of Fight Club.
Is it Palahniuk or is it Planuik? Because I have almost every... Well, first off, I don't know, but what I was going to say was I've got to preface the fact that I live like, I don't know if you guys are idiots and actually read or don't read, but no, but actually I always thought it was Planuik. But
You're
anyway,
probably right.
No, I'm maybe absolutely 100% wrong at the same time.
Google.
Sure, it's Palahniuk.
But
nobody gives a shit.
Palachuk.
Anything.
But actually, I have a good collection of most of his books, and actually met him.
Me too. At New York Comic Con, actually.
I met him at an kind of like a panel or interview / thing, a meet and greet in Miami, Florida, like 12, 13 years ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have a signed hand from New York Comic Con. Like, he threw like dismembered body parts.
Things.
Yeah, and it's signed, and I caught one.
No, I have one of his books signed. I can't remember which one of his books.
I have Damned signed, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Now you got me looking at my books.
I have the sequel. What's the sequel to Damned?
Doom. It's like, or is it vice versa? It's Doomed and Damned or Damned and Doomed? I don't know.
I think I might have Damned signed also. Wow.
Invisible Monsters is still my favorite book.
That was the first one I ever read, and also my favorite.
I think that's the first one most of us read, like in high school.
It's so good.
But I think we're sidetracking. So,
yes.
Bobby over here.
Yes, Bobby. Yeah.
How was this book? Because was it as like racially charged as most of his music was?
So I'm only like 5 chapters in, so not even halfway through the book, and there's definitely some undertones, though I don't know if everything has come to the surface yet. So it's really just too early for me to kind of make that call. I'll give a more honest review later. But he kind of just reminds me of like Chuck's work like soft core. Like he's trying to be Chuck, and I like it, but I don't know. It's bizarre. It's like philosophical. It's like a psychological thriller is what it's marketed as. So we'll see how it goes. I'm enjoying it, but I'm also confused as the direction. But the soundtrack that goes with it. At first, I was like, "Oh, this doesn't sound like Logic at all. Like this is bizarre. Where's the rap?" And it's still really good, though. You guys should definitely listen to it, whether you decide to read the book or not. Like, it's an excellent album. So.
Are you listening to it while reading the book?
No, I'm not. But I listened to it on the car ride to and from home for the past 2 days, nonstop. So, yeah, broken up in there with some other podcasts, but...
Yeah, that's a cool concept.
It's definitely a super cool concept. So kudos to him on that. But yeah, that's what I've been up to.
My time has come. Let's go through the new releases for about the next 2 weeks. March 19th, we had Fate Extella Link release for the PS4, the Vita, and the Switch. This is the sequel to the previous Fate Extella game that was kind of mediocre on
I don't think that did very well.
But this one's supposed to be an improvement on the first and has an awesome cast of characters. I don't know how much you guys like Fate, and I'm not very caught up in it, but it's a cool...
That's
cool
what they all say, though. It's always going to be better than the last one.
Yeah, there's always a redemption. March 20th, Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon Everybody.
Hey.
Released on the PS4 and Switch, digital only here in the United States. Anyone pick up this?
I have it for the DS, so I did not pick it up for the Switch.
I didn't pick this up.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard pickup at $40 on either console. So I'll probably wait for that one to hit the discount bin, or I might pick it up physically from PlayAsia. Speaking of PlayAsia, Dead or Alive Extreme 3 Scarlet released for the Switch and PS4. That's it's not really available here in any way, but you can get it via PlayAsia in Japanese or in you can get the Asian version of the game, which has English subtitles. So pick that up if you need some Dead or Alive on your to-go. Dead or Alive Volleyball to go.
I really always do.
Yeah, I picked it up. I'm just waiting for it to ship.
Well, that's what I have on my Vita. What?
Yeah.
DOA. What was it?
Extreme.
Yeah, Extreme Venus or whatever.
Extreme.
Who's best girl?
Who's best girl?
Yeah, who's your best girls? I want to hear them.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm not
I'm
going
a
that way.
I'm a traditionalist.
I'm staying out of this one. I've got family values to withhold here.
Well, I have none. Joey, who's best girl?
Kasumi.
You would.
Always Katsumi.
You fucking would.
She's like she's awesome.
She's
always the star.
She's
always the star of the game, so you gotta root for the star.
Yeah.
Alright, moving on. March 22nd, the game to, again, annoy every gamer that exists and actually plays these AAA games. Sekiro, released for PS4 and Xbone. Did anyone pick up this?
Nope.
No, but this is actually... It went from 0 to, like, pretty high on my list pretty quickly once I found out that it was same people who did the Souls games.
FromSoft.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Demon, Dead, and Bloodborne kind of like combination in feudal Japan, so I'm all about that.
Yeah, it definitely looks cool, but I'm not about the pain.
What do you mean the pain?
So,
you don't want to relive frustration?
Painful.
Yeah.
I don't like frustration.
You know how many times I almost broke a controller in those games?
So yeah, I don't want to do that. Alright, moving on. March 26th was a pretty fun day if you like Japanese gaming. The Princess Guide released. This is a NISA game for Switch and PS4. I haven't heard too much about this one, at least in terms of rating, but you pretty much just guide a set of princesses as they try to like level up and become good at being princesses, maybe.
Get good, girls.
But like you're just it's kind of like a what would you call those games? A management type game. Mm-hmm. And then Nelk, and I think that's how you pronounce it this time. Nelk and the Legendary Alchemist release for Switch and PS4. This is another management type game from NISA where you get to develop a town with all the favorite alchemists you've interacted with in older Atelier NISA games. And then we also had Trails of Cold Steel. And remind me, was this did they call this the Steel edition or just the definitive edition?
It was like the perfect Steel or whatever.
Yeah, so that's out on PS4 now in case you haven't played it on everything else that's been on. And then we had Danganronpa Trilogy released for the PS4, which is kind of an interesting collection considering 3 didn't come out that long ago.
Wait, it includes 3 and Ultra Despair?
I think it just has 1, 2, and 3.
I thought it was 1, 2, and Ultra Despair and not 3. Google.
Is that true?
Well, the thing is, I would only...
Because that would make it totally not worth it.
No, that would actually make more sense. Because 1 and 2 and
Vita
Ultra Despair... Well, no, not only Vita only, but have more connecting stories. Because then you had the animes that finished off that kind of arc. And then Danganronpa 3, while still tied into the kind of universe of Danganronpa, wasn't related to the first 2.
No, it's 1, 2, and 3. Throw that out the window.
Wait, it is 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind then.
Boo.
That stinks, though. I wouldn't have bought 3 if I knew it was going to come out on PlayStation 4 in a collection.
And 3 is not necessarily, like, the cheapest yet, so it's almost kind of a better...
deal to just get them all like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ugh.
I thought it was a weird choice, too. And Eric, that logic would have been sound, but they didn't go that route. And then, this is wrong, Final Fantasy VII finally came out on the Switch, so go get that if you need more cloud in your life.
You know what I love about this? That they use the same trailer that they've used for the last 20-something years and just slapped a Switch logo on it.
What else can they do? They can't, like, advertise more than it is.
No, but it's the same trailer. The doo-doo-doo.
And then the flower girl.
It's marketing
Yeah.
And then
genius.
the flashes to the train. And then the little fade out to the large city.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways. March 29th, Ask Creed 3 Remastered. Pass. Yoshi's Crafted World also released. That's tomorrow, actually, for the Switch. Does anyone really play these yarn-ish games?
I'll check them
Yes.
out, but I'm not like super invested in it. It
I
sounds
like
like
them.
Eric is.
I like
yeah,
them.
Sounds like it. Okay.
You like Yoshi's World?
It's adorable.
Yes.
Yes.
I played the Kirby one for a little bit. It wasn't too bad. Anyways, then April 2nd, Sword and Fairy 6 releases on PS4. This one's on Steam already if you need it now. This is a Chinese RPG. Haven't had one of these for a while. I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard the translation could be better. I've heard the gameplay could be better. I've heard the port itself could be better, but I've heard the story is actually kind of interesting if you're into like Chinese fantasy type storylines, so might be one to keep in mind. And then April 9th, we've got a couple games coming out. We'll round out with April 9th. Ace Attorney Trilogy comes to big consoles finally for PS4, Switch, and Xbone.
I'm actually really excited about it.
I know,
Me
I've
too.
never even finished the first one.
What?
Neither did I. I own all 3 of the Phoenix games on DS. I've played probably halfway through the first one.
Oh, they're so fun.
They are,
they're
but they're
super
just
fun.
long.
They are. It's a lot of reading, and I think, I don't know, this time for sure.
Yeah, you
Guys,
better.
This time for sure.
This time for sure.
But digital only on this. If you want a physical copy, again, PlayAsia or eBay is your friend, because the Japanese versions come with the English for whatever reason. And then Zonky Zero Last Beginning releases on the PS4. Have any of you all heard anything about this game ever?
I was just about to ask you, what the hell is a Zonkey Zero?
That's my DJ
So-
name.
It's been out in Japan for a bit, and I should have done research beforehand, but I could have sworn it's been on some other things, but it doesn't matter at this point because you can't do research anymore. But it's been out in Japan for a while. It's a visual novel-esque type game where you play as like 8 different characters, but you also, each of the characters, like, you play through their storylines and you age fully throughout the game, from like kid to, you know, dying old person.
So it's Benjamin Button, but Japanese.
Yeah, and the right way forward too.
Oh.
So yeah, that might. It seems unique. It seems kind of cool. It seems very Japanese, and you should keep an eye out for that one. It's probably, I don't know. It's probably gonna be expensive. All these games are always like expensive when they come out, but whatever. And that's it for the new releases for now. It's not really a big month unless you're really into Japanese games.
That is a really big Japanese RPG visual novel
Yep.
month.
Just a big old chunk of them to ruin your wallet.
And then Assassin's Creed right in the middle.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 3.
Gotta cut it through.
All right. Eric, why don't you take it away on the announcements/news?
All right, so I'm going to do this a little bit in reverse. So about 2 weeks ago, or maybe a week and a half ago, was the GDC, Game Developer Conference.
Yep.
And the 2 biggest things that came out of that was Google and Apple both announced their own gaming service platforms. So not much is really out there right now. Both say that they're going to release at some point within this year. We have no idea on pricing for either of them, no idea on how it's really going to work in terms of games or exclusive titles. But we do know that they are big names moving into a market that we wouldn't have thought they would be in before. I mean, we have Apple with the iTunes store, the App Store, in which there's a shit ton of games, like 90% of them bad. But now we're moving into a place where they're really trying to take on the real market. I don't know how well they'll fare against Steam and whatnot, but Google is trying to play, I guess, more towards the console market. They've got their own controller, which supposedly connects directly to the internet for minimal lag. Of course, that all comes with asterisks on how well your internet service is and will run. Apple says it's not cloud streaming, but again, what other way are they going to provide us these games unless they do it directly to Apple products, right? Like a MacBook, Apple TV, or the phone. You download it and you play it that way. We do know Apple is going to be subscription based. I don't know about Google, but that's the biggest thing coming out of that sphere.
Yeah, it really feels like they're both just trying to get this info out there, like, hey, we're doing this.
I agree with that.
But
They're just putting their name in the hat, and I don't know. I think it might be all right for them, though. I mean, Google and Apple are huge names. I don't think they're going to need to push too hard.
But did they really need to at this point? I mean,
did they need to? No. But will it do decent? I think so. I don't know. I think it was dumb, but whatever, good for them, I guess.
I mean, of course, it's definitely going to be more money in their pocket for kind of minimal effort, but it's just one of those things. Like, Google has tried so many different failed projects, right?
But a lot of very successful ones too.
Well, I mean, I guess that's the whole thing about innovation and moving forward, right? You don't make money without spending money or losing money.
Mm-hmm.
I think the big winner is if they can pull enough of the console gaming market or even PC gaming market due to the price of the subscription. Like, if the price is good enough, I did PlayStation Now for a little bit, and it was great because I didn't have to have all these PS3 games sitting around anymore when I was again in a downsizing mode. But it wasn't monetarily smart enough because PS3 games are super cheap. So it'd be interesting to see if they're going to get an audience that kind of matters, or else they're just going to have a bunch of crap that already exists on their mobile stores.
That's what I think. I don't think they're really going to move into these kind of super exclusive, story-driven games that have never been announced before. I think they're going to pick up a lot of things that already exist, maybe ports of other games from other consoles, but I don't think this is going to be a strong market for them.
I think it is. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I just was going to say I think it will appeal to a casual audience. And I think I can't speak for the Apple Marketplace or whatever you call that, but the Google or Google Play, they have a bunch of dumb third-party games that anybody, not anybody, but people can just kind of put their stuff out there, and I wonder if it will be similar, just kind of Tetris Lite or, just stupid little dating games or
another version of Solitaire.
Right. Or, Tamagotchi.
Yeah, I almost wonder if it'll actually be more of a multiplayer environment of games that they're going to release, like Tetris 99 or things like that, where it's more interactive, because that's where I feel like a lot of Google and Apple have geared themselves, right? Kind of like social interaction, playing with other people. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you also kind of hinted at what I don't think is that great, but it's they are going to, those types of games are big right now because they're fun for a certain age range group of players, and I don't think that fully covers the age range, but there's a certain core demographic that really likes that type of game. I think there are developers that are moving that way. Epic is obviously going to try to make the next Fortnite, and Call of Duty is obviously going to try to grab some of this market that loves to shoot things socially. So I think Google and Apple are setting themselves up to also take a part of that pie, and that's scary.
Well, I guess we will find out how that ends up.
There's no place for us weebs here.
I don't feel like home here.
Boy. Alright, so moving on, we know that aside from that, we had C2E2 was this past week. Am I right?
I don't pay attention.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Well, no. The only reason why I say that is because a couple of things that have come out of C2E2 is what we've heard about and what we're about to talk about. So, Borderlands Collection, remastered, coming to both PS4 and Xbox One. Borderlands 3 was actually announced today, so that's going to be a new run of your favorite foul-mouthed, blow 'em up, shoot 'em up, weird wasteland kind of run and gun.
Heck yeah.
So I actually forgot that Borderlands Collection wasn't on PS4 already.
What do you mean? I thought it was. I thought it was on PS3, right?
Yeah.
Xbox 360
was it,
and PS3?
It's only... Correct me, Courtney. Is it only on PS3?
Well, I think the PS3 one is just Borderlands 1 and 2, whereas this remaster collection includes 1 and 2 and also pre-sequel.
And then they're going to, bump up the graphics a tad bit, even though it's comic graphics, so they don't really have to do all that much.
I think they're catering it a little bit to newer players as well. I don't remember exactly what they're doing. But
so
they're kind of altering
PUBG
it.
Mode or whatever.
Yeah. But I will say I'm kind of interested as to why they didn't include Tales of Borderlands, other than I'm maybe not the same publisher, but I believe Tales of Borderlands is canon and does have story that will be related in 3, so as a new player to the series, you kind of have to actively seek that game out outside of that collection. So, I don't know.
That's good.
Just keep that in mind when you're going in. I don't know if it's a huge story chunk, but I think it'll be, I don't know, good to play it. It was free on PlayStation Network, so maybe some people have it in their library.
I love these games. They're awesome.
Me too.
They're fun time wasters. I just hate the mechanic of every weapon you get is randomized until you get like the best weapon you can get, and then you're like, oh shit.
That's the fun of it, though.
Well, I don't want to get
loot box.
Yeah.
I don't want a gun that does like 1 damage with like 3,000 shock.
Okay,
you know, like,
but it's funny.
but you can also get a gun with legs.
that talks shit to me, right?
I don't know. I'm excited.
Anyway. I mean, I definitely played 1 and 2, and even the PS Vita version of 2, which was not fun.
I was going to say, how'd that run?
It actually, okay, I say it wasn't fun. It ran decent enough for a PS Vita. It was chuggy at times, and after the update, they completely nerfed Zero, and his ult didn't even work anymore. But it was still fun for a handheld version of Borderlands.
Yeah. I would have never thought to pick up Borderlands on the Vita, but, you know.
It's also like 20 gigs, so it kills. With all the things, it kills like any available memory card space.
Dang. Alright.
Or maybe not 20, but it's up there.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, really, that's kind of the biggest point, talking points for announcements. I mean, there's a few other things, but I don't really think they're worth taking up time for. Yes, okay. I'm cutting out your Senran Kagura. You sound like my daughter right now. Whenever I say something, she goes, "Are you kidding? Are you serious? Daddy, are you serious?" Well, yes, I don't want to talk about Senran Kagura because censorship issues. But go ahead. It's all you.
No, that's okay. We'll leave it for next time. We're going to start a boob cast.
All right, Joey. You and me, buddy. we don't have families. I don't have pride.
We don't have family values.
We don't
you
have
guys have to adhere to. All right.
Joey and I are throwing that to the wind, aren't we, buddy?
Yep. And Matt would be into this 4th bullet point, but we'll wait for him for that too.
R.I.P. Matt. Where were you, buddy? Where were you?
Yep. Lame. Being lame.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for spending the time with us today. And you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Play, and online at geekenvy.podbean.com. We're also on Instagram at Geek Envy, and we still need some comment suggestions, questions, or just tell us what we shouldn't be and should be looking at. Email us at askgeekenvy@gmail.com. And with that, we say goodnight. Say bye, everyone.
Later, Gator.
Adios.